Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Outpost session. Tonight we have Tim Bader. Tim's been a musician, a singer-songwriter. He's been in Los Angeles since 1999 and has been singing and songwriting his entire life. Tim was started out with the Drunken Fireman, then the Love Huskies. With the Love Huskies, you had two songs released, and you were signed by Gotham Records.
That's true.
Well, I don't want to ruin the whole story. There's more that Tim's going to talk about. I'm going to let him talk about it, but we're really, really happy that you're here with us tonight. Very, very talented singer-songwriter. And also, we are here tonight at Studio B of Dubbing Brothers in Burbank, California. And thank you very, very much to Michael Fox and Courtney Kay for allowing this to happen tonight. So here we are with Tim Bader.
It's good to be back, or it's good to be here.
Right on. Yeah, absolutely. We needed to re-record, so this one isn't the live one.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we needed to re-record because I messed up the signal last time. What is it called when I didn't set the amperage? What is it called?
The
attenuation.
Yeah.
I didn't get the attenuation right on the mics. So, you are originally from Philadelphia.
Suburbs of Philly, that's correct. Jeffersonville, to be exact.
Where is that?
It's probably about just 30 minutes outside of the city.
Outside of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Did you spend a lot of time in Philly growing up?
Oh, well, a little bit. Like when I got older, I mean, I went to college at St. Joe's University, which was right on the outskirts of the city. But yeah, in high school and stuff, I'd go down there and catch shows and just hang out in the city because it wasn't that big of a commute, you know?
When did you start? When were you first drawn to an instrument or to being a musician?
Probably my teens, you know, freshman year in high school and stuff, because being from such a huge family, you're competing for attention all the time, and I just wasn't a great athlete or like very, you know, wasn't a genius or anything like that, and I kind of found the guitar and noodled around with it a little bit, and it was kind of an escape, you know, where I'd buy CDs or tapes and learn those songs and just taught myself how to play the acoustic guitar.
Okay, so you come from a big family. You're one of 8.
One of 8 kids, yeah.
And where are you in the
lucky
order?
number 7.
So you have a younger
brother.
Is he a musician as well?
Yeah, he can play guitar a little bit. Yeah.
But I mean, you come from a musical family? Are your parents musicians?
My dad's father was a drummer.
Okay.
So there's definitely some music in us. And out of the 8 kids, let me see, Trish, no. Eddie's a great drummer. Paul can play piano and sing. Danny, no. Mick's a good drummer, can play guitar a little bit. Matt, bass. Yeah, I guess there's only like Danny's the only one that really can't fumble around the musical instrument.
But wait,
and Trish.
Was it your parents that encouraged music education, or was it the school that you all went to, or was it a time period where you grew up? I mean, what was it that, I mean, it's atypical for a whole family to develop musically.
As far as I can remember, when I was born, we had a piano in the house. But my brother Ed probably was the one that really was the catalyst, because I don't know what drove him to play drums, but having a drum set in the house, all the boys are going to get on it at one point. And then he was in a band called Bricklin in the 80s, and they got signed to A&M Records. They had a real deal, you know. They had their song in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
No way.
Yeah. When they come out, you know, in the climax of the movie with Socrates and all those guys.
No
that's
way.
their song. Yeah.
And how did he get discovered?
Well, I don't know how. I mean, the record
How old
came
were
out.
you when that happened?
That's got to be like 80s, 83, 84. So what am I? God, it's 4th grade. How old are you in 4th grade? 10, 11 years old.
Okay, so you were in 4th grade.
Yeah, I was young.
Right.
But it was, you know, it was exciting to go to like like We 3 Records or whatever the record store was at the time in the mall. And there's the tapes and the albums. And believe it or not, they had the CD, which like the evolution of CDs. Like, wow, there's my brother Ed on a record, you know? Wow.
And what was that? How was that treated at home?
It was big, you know. It's big fish in a small pond.
right?
You know what I mean? Kings of just Philadelphia. The Hooters were the big band at the time
Sure.
that they sounded like that broke out, you know. I remember Live Aid when the Hooters got on that bill. That was the difference maker for their career,
Okay.
you know. But Brooklyn never really broke, you know. And then
What does that mean?
I get one, you know, I'm sure they signed a 2 or 3 album deal. They put one record out. It wasn't to the expectation of the record label, and they got dropped.
So it didn't take off.
Didn't take off.
All right, but so you're watching your brother Ed.
Yeah.
And your eyes opened up to that possibility, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think my older brothers more so than me because they started the Love Huskies,
Okay.
which was probably because of my brother Ed, and that was more impactful because the age difference between me and my brother Ed was so far away that I
Right.
was still kind of a kid when he was doing the whole rock and roll thing.
Okay.
But then with the Love Huskies, yeah, I wanted to be a part of that, you know, and that was probably like, oh, you want to be in your family band, you know, like the Kings of Leon. Right?
Where would they rehearse?
They had a great rehearsal spot. There's a lot of great rehearsal spots you could find in the suburbs of Philadelphia because there was always just rooms at old like offices and business offices and stuff that you could rent for next to nothing, or somebody's dad would say you could use it for free.
Okay.
So yeah, that those guys when they started to start a band, I definitely was. I couldn't join their band because I couldn't really play yet, but that was what gave me the idea to start the Drunken Fireman.
Where'd you get the name?
Where did we get the name of the Drunken Fireman? I have no idea. I think it was a concept because like one party we came out in real fireman gear and played like a house party, and you know that shit is heavy and it's hot.
Right.
My bass player like, passed out like mid set. You know what I
mean,
mean?
with the hats and everything.
Oh yeah, the whole
you guys
bit.
were full in.
Full in, dude. We didn't realize that it was so like crazy to have that gear on, you know, for like a 45-minute sweat. I mean, set. It was a slip.
Well, that's what it was.
It was.
So you got together with some friends and started the Drunken Fireman.
Yeah, and at first it was kind of a joke, mostly trying to learn cover songs and stuff. But then I really got the bug of writing original songs and wanting to practice.
What's that
and get
like?
better.
What does that mean, getting the bug?
You know, you just start. It's just almost therapeutic to like write songs of yearning for girls and dreams and hopes and all that stuff, but taking it seriously more than a joke.
Right.
You know, like the Drunken Fireman name just sounds like a joke.
Yeah.
And I got into it way more than I think my band did, where I was a sponge. I wanted to learn how to write songs and sing and harmonies and stuff. And that's what I think I just blew by everybody musically because I was so into it. You know, I was like following bands, seeing bands live, learning, where the other guys kind of just thought, this is fun, you know, but I'm not as serious as he is.
Was there a big musical scene going on in Philadelphia at the time?
Not really. I don't ever think there is, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's a big city.
It's a big city, and it's got like a lot of good Motown and stuff that comes out of there that was successful, but it's too difficult to compete, man, with cover bands. You know, there's cover bands. You show up at a bar and you get in for free, or you pay $5 and you drink for free for 2 hours, and all the hot girls in town are there, and it's a band. You just pick any band that's playing all the hit songs that they've listened to all week while they're driving to work.
Right.
It's impossible to compete with that on sound systems and in clubs that are like exciting, you know, great lighting and all that. Or you can drive 30 minutes into the city, and even the best place for local bands there was kind of shitty sounding. You know, the sound.
What was the name of that place?
There was J.C. Dobbs at the time, which was pretty cool. A place called the Middle East, which was pretty good. The Khyber Pass. I mean, that was like for original acts.
And did they have a following? I mean, would people come and no?
Hit or miss.
Yeah.
You know, just hit or miss. It was so weird. Like nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd. If you could get the right hot chick or the right group of people to commit to going, then the word got out, and sometimes you'd have a good show. You know, and there was a little bit of support on like local radio, but it's Sunday night radio. You know what I mean? Who's listening to the radio on Sunday night at like 8 o'clock? It's tough.
So what would you do? I mean, what would you do to get an audience?
You got to just get people out, man. You got to have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
I still say in my music career that I have more friends than fans. You know, and that was how it worked back home too. You know, I gave people something to do. And if enough people, like, what are you doing on Saturday night? I don't know. Well, at 11 o'clock at night, the Love Huskies are playing at Sam Adams Brew House.
Right.
If I told enough people that or handed enough flyers out and they said, hey, some random guy A, who I told, talks to guy B, and he says, what are you doing Saturday night? I don't know. Bader told me his band's playing. Oh, he told me. That's how I got people out.
Because, you know, there's a lot of artists, not just musicians. I mean, artists in general kind of, they get the education right, the training right. They have their heart in the right place, but they don't do the legwork.
Right. No, I did the legwork.
Yeah.
I mean, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we used to get buses sometimes. You know, you could get a bus, take it, seriously, take you to Washington, D.C. for a show or take you to New York for the night for a show. We had all kinds of angles, you know. I mean, I don't know how we worked it out, but it was like if we played CBGBs and you could get, I don't know, a certain amount of people there, they paid you. So we would solicit, you know, we'll leave from this bar at 7 o'clock.
You made it fun. You made it an event.
Yeah, made it an event. That was it. And, you know, and it looked good for record executives if you're playing CBGBs and a bus pulls up and 60 people, young people, roll in and the cover's already, you know, prepaid or whatever. And then for your set, you had the building crowd. I mean, dude, we tried everything.
Have you ever heard of anybody else doing that?
Yeah, other bands did it from Philly and stuff. It was my manager's idea, you know,
Yeah.
at the time. But I mean, we were very ignorant, and in the sense of just not knowing. You know, the outfits, like we had no sense of style. You know, like three brothers and a cousin with hand-me-downs, and just no anything, and just relying on a manager who was the manager of a Studio 4 in Philadelphia, to give us advice. And
But this is with the Love Huskies. So
Yeah,
what
this
was
is
it?
all-
What's the transition between the Drunken Fireman and the Love Huskies?
I just got pretty good with the Drunken Fireman, where it wasn't a joke and people remembered some of my original songs, and I was playing with another band, like ready to leave the Drunken Fireman and go play with another band called $380, which we started catching some steam. And then my brothers just said, hey, dude, why don't you come in the band? So then it was 2 guitars, bass, and drums, 3 brothers and a cousin. There was the Love Huskies, you know, signed the record deal.
Okay, so what instruments? You were guitar?
Yeah.
Who else?
Oh, my cousin Joe. I would say technically my cousin Joe was rhythm guitar, and he wrote the majority of the songs. I was, quote unquote, the lead guitar player. And then my brother Matt played bass and sang, and then my brother Mick played drums, and I also sang. But it was weird because Joey was very dictator as far as writing songs. He didn't want any contributions, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he'd bring 90% of the song.
All right.
You know, you have a change here or there, but he was a dictator about it. But I also did my own thing, which eventually led to the split.
Okay.
Because I was writing my own songs, doing acoustic stuff, and making dough. Now, I was doing half covers and original songs and making some good coin. And then people would come to Love Husky shows and they would know one of my songs acoustically. Why don't you play that? And then eventually, the first record, that didn't happen. The second record, I think 2 of my songs got on the record. One of them I sang, one of them my brother sang. And it was clear that I was going in a different direction. You know, I was trying to get better and write hit rock alternative songs or pop, even pop. You know, and my cousin Joe just plateaued, in my opinion. Just he stayed in this one zone, and he was married to that, and that's where the breakup came.
Okay. But Gotham signed the Love Huskies.
They did, not for a lot of money, but
But it's still a big deal.
yeah, it's a big deal.
How'd that happen? I mean, if you tell me that Philadelphia's
New York, Gotham was out of New York.
So how'd that happen?
We had a bus trip, and
No way.
yeah, the
So
guy
one of the bus trips paid
paid
off.
off, I guess. I mean, Gotham on the signing looked much more lucrative than it was because Ichiban was funding Gotham, and Ichiban Records had real money. But this was a little indie deal where they just paid for the record, helped us a little bit with touring, but still, it was no big deal. It wasn't quit your day job.
So then how do they justify even that small of an investment? They're just hoping to catch lightning in a bottle. That just coincidentally one of the songs that they put a little bit of money in catches fire, and
That's
then they own
exactly
it.
Right. And then we're young kids that are green. We don't know any better. You know, it was a bad deal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they even had pieces of our publishing, which is like unheard of. You know, the record deal is completely separate of publishing. At least it was. I don't know how it works today. I mean, nowadays I hear they sign bands and they even get a piece of their merchandise, but that's because it's impossible to make money.
From just the recording.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a shitty deal. I mean, even getting the second deal done, we probably didn't even want to record the second deal with Gotham, but that was just the contract.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a lot of stress.
And along the way, was there a process of discovery that, hey, wait a minute, we did the wrong deal here? How did you begin to, because you had a manager, right? I mean, didn't the manager?
Yeah, I would say I didn't learn it was a wrong deal until I came to California.
So basically what I'm getting at is, what's the lesson learned?
Have a good entertainment attorney.
Yeah.
Truthfully. I mean, we had an entertainment lawyer that we paid $100 to look at it. You know, It's probably what he got in Philadelphia, for entertainment law, $100 an hour or whatever. He looked at it and he just said, it's a bad deal, but you guys have no deal at all.
Right.
It's not like you're in a bidding war and you're, take the deal. It gets you one step closer.
And was he right?
I guess. I mean,
well, did it give you exposure or more belief in yourselves as a band or musicians or so on and so forth to go take the next step?
Yeah, it did. It definitely did. I mean, it got us a tangible CD that was finished in our hands and got us to the next level.
Which was?
Releasing it, getting it in stores and selling copies and having something to sell at live shows. I mean, you have to do that. It sucks if you go play and you connect with people one night and you have nothing to sell to them, And this was in a time when before, digital stuff.
Right.
This was CD time. And it was good. I mean, it was good. But we never saw really any money. The Huskies never did, at least.
So what was the next step? What was the jump to Los Angeles?
The straw that broke my back was we opened up for cover bands at big venues, just to get a built-in audience. And my cousin Joe he didn't like it. He wasn't having it. And I just felt like it was just creative differences. He had his opinion of, not wanting to sell out. And I didn't consider it selling out. I just wanted to break and get to the next level. So I ran into Jeffrey Kane from Remy Zero that played at JC Dobbs, and they had signed a big deal, and the singer was married to Alyssa Milano, and coming from a guy that is green in the suburbs of Philadelphia, it's a big deal. And I went down, and they played JC Dobbs, and there wasn't a lot of people there, so we got to meet the bands, and it wasn't a complete cold meeting. Jeff's wife actually was friends with one of the girls that my brother Matt had dated. So that girl said, go see this band, trying to support this band on the road.
All right.
Jeff and I had hit it off. I remember why we hit it off. They had just gotten back from England, and they stayed in all places at St. John's Wood, where I had just gotten back in England just with a friend, just a random vacation.
Okay.
And we actually knew the same pub. So the introduction was nice and warm because we had things to talk about. And I had asked him about Los Angeles because I had all the stereotypes of like fake people and just whatever the stereotypes you have growing up as a kid of California. And he said it's completely different. He's like, it's all creative people, trying to get to the next level. And there's just a way you can make a buck, out there, and you'll survive. And I'm like, well, yeah, right. And I'm like, well, if it's so cool and creative, give me your phone number and I'll call you. And if you call me back, I'll move. And 2 weeks after I met him, he left a message on my voicemail like, hey, I just got back from being off the road. I told you I'd call you. I think it's worth you moving out. And 2 weeks later, 93 Buick that was my grandfather's and $1,500. I drove across the country.
Was that something you did by yourself, or did you consult with your brothers about doing it as a band?
No, I'd had it. I mean, there was just so many things at that time. Like my mom wanted me to get a job at like a pharmaceutical company or a mutual fund company. I mean, when things were just not syncing up correctly, that I knew that I needed to get out of Philadelphia. And this seemed like a logical
So you knew in your bones that
It was time to go.
That getting a job and doing that thing. I mean, getting a job working at a mutual fund.
It just wasn't happening.
No?
No way. Not because I mean, I had
mean,
no youth.
there was no internal debate about that.
Not
you just,
for me.
No.
No way. People ask me all the time, when did you realize that you liked California more than you liked Philadelphia? And I said 8 hours when I was driving through Tennessee.
Really?
I just knew. And the good thing was when I left.
I'd like to interrupt and point out that your girlfriend is from Tennessee.
That's right. That is absolutely right.
Your current, yeah. Audrey.
Strange, huh?
Yeah.
That's a weird joke.
Well, it's not a joke. I'm just.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, wow.
There you go.
Yeah, that is very bizarre. I never even thought of that.